Hey Taylor, this is Dr. Scott. I have some feedback for you on your visual analysis draft. A quick reminder of what I'm looking for in this assignment. So I'm looking for a thesis statement that's clear and that's focused, and it should be making an argument about two of the flood wall murals. Also looking for supporting reasons. And for an assignment of this size, I think supporting reasons, you can kind of think of that as like the paragraphs, or the paragraphs helping to support your paper's overall argument. Also looking for supporting details. Using strong visual details, concrete details from the murals, but then also explaining how those murals help you make your argument. Looking for organization and transitions, integration of a couple paraphrases, and then MLA formatting, a visual in a paragraph without be verbs. So I think I might be able to talk about the thesis statement, supporting details, and maybe a little bit about organization. I think the big issue right now is kind of getting the thesis statement, getting the argument to do a little bit more for you. Right now it seems really kind of repetitive. So here is where I thought the thesis statement was, down at the end of the first body paragraph. The use of color setting and people, the two murals I will be contrasting, successfully show that the community of Portsmouth is able to overcome any tribulation that may arise. I think where I'm not sure if the argument is going to have the legs that you need for this assignment is here. Is able to convey, overcome any tribulation that may arise. It's going to be hard to argue that the 1940s mural is a very different mural than the 1937 mural. It's hard to argue that a town is better because it's not flooded, if that makes sense. But I think you can make the argument that you can make an argument about how the town overcomes that tribulation. And maybe it does it through its sense of community, which is something I see you hinting at it in a few places. Maybe it does it because it's just a tough town, that the people here are hardworking and that they got each other's back. Maybe the how they overcome things, that might be something that you can argue. The thing that I'm seeing in the body paragraphs, which is another issue, is like you give me a lot of details, and then kind of at the end of that list of details, you say, yeah, that shows that we're able to overcome stuff. And I don't know if that's an issue of, like, you picked an argument that's not going to have legs, or you're just kind of not explaining the details. So if you're really kind of behind, you're like, nope, that's Dr. Scott, that's the argument that I think I need to go with for this assignment, then cool, that's fine. But in the body paragraphs, you need to kind of explain how the details equal this. Right now, the balance is way more to, here's things that I'm telling you about the mural, and some great detail. You use a lot of good detail about the murals, or from the murals, but there needs to be much more balance towards you explaining how those details support your overall argument. And I'll just give you a couple of examples of that. So like in this paragraph, we're talking about colors and how the colors contrast, and I love that Wizard of Oz reference there. So we have like details about how kind of gray tones and all that kind of stuff, and then kind of at the very end we have that, and then we have more details about the 40s mural, and then at the very end we have that. So it's like a lot of detail from the mural for like 2 sentences or 1.5 sentences of here's Taylor kind of explaining how those colors are working to get across this idea that the town is able to overcome things. So if that's the argument that you want to go for in the assignment, that's cool, but you're going to need to explain in these body paragraphs a lot more than you currently are, how those details get us to that argument that you're trying to get across. My hunch is that the argument needs to be tweaked a little bit, and maybe it's the town is able to overcome things because it is, I don't know, it's a tough town. People here have each other's back, like we have a strong sense of community that we draw on in good times and in bad. Wherever you go with that, I think one of those approaches, I think you need to take one of those approaches. One, explain more effectively in your body paragraphs how these details are equal in the argument that you have, or get the argument to open up a little bit and make it a little bit more debatable. If you're not sure what I mean by that, like, make sure that you come speak with me, because this is a tough assignment, and what I'm asking you to do is a little bit difficult, but I think it's something that you can handle, and I think that you got it. The other thing that I would mention before I end the screencast is I think that you can organize this a little bit more effectively. You're talking about what stood out to you first, and I get that, and I use that as an example in that paper. Not a great way to organize, because like what you noticed first, second, or third has nothing to do with your argument. It has to do with just like what you noticed. But if you can say that like the most effective way they get across this idea that we can overcome things is through the use of color, like, okay, that's more meaningful. So I give you that feedback there. That's just between paragraphs. There might be places between ideas within your paragraphs that you might need to address. All right, quick, and I didn't talk about the individual paragraphs all that much, because that issue of like explaining your details, that's something that I saw in all the paragraphs. And if you're not sure how that's working in other paragraphs, let me know and I can kind of talk you through it. Quick recap, complicate the argument a little bit. That's like you either need to do one or two. I don't know if it's doing that. So you need to either complicate that argument a little bit, make it a little bit more debatable. Again, if you kind of think about it logically, a town is going to overcome things if you're showing it. Of course, the town is going to overcome something if you show it going through a flood, a natural disaster, and then showing it 1940s, when people are kind of enjoying things. What does it say about the town that we have both of those? Yeah, that we overcome stuff, but maybe the argument is how we overcome things, and I've talked about that a bit. So either do that or explain the details in terms of the paragraph's overall point. Do that a little bit, much more consistently and much more often in the body paragraphs. I think rethinking the organization could benefit the essay. Then there's other issues to address as well. Paraphrases, integrating visuals, eliminating be verbs, and MLA formatting. This is a good start, Taylor. And if you have any questions, do make sure you reach out to me. All right, I'll talk to you soon.